In Nepal, a Kumari is a prepubescent girl selected from the Shakya clan of the Nepali Newari Buddhist community. The Kumari is also revered and worshipped by some of the country's Hindus. While there are several Kumaris throughout Nepal, with some cities having several, the best known is the Royal Kumari of Kathmandu, and she lives in the Kumari Gar, a palace in the center of the city. The selection process for her is especially rigorous. As of 2023, the Royal Kumari of Kathmandu is Trishna Shakya, aged 5, installed in September 2017. Unika Bajracharya, selected in April 2014 as the Kumari of Patan, is the second most important living goddess. 2. In Kathmandu Valley, this is a particularly prevalent practice. It is believed to be the incarnation of Taleju, a manifestation of the goddess Durga. 3. When her first menstruation begins, it is believed that the deity vacates her body. Serious illness or a major loss of blood from an injury also causes loss of deity. The Kumari tradition is only followed in a few cities in Nepal, which are Kathmandu, Lalitpur, also called Patan, Bhaktapur, Sanku, and Bungamati. 5. The selection process and roles of the Kumari vary between the different towns. Whilst the veneration of a living Kumari in Nepal is relatively recent, dating only from the 17th century, the tradition of Kumari Puja, or virgin worship, has been around for much longer. There is evidence of virgin worship taking place in Nepal for more than 2,300 years. It appears to have taken hold in Nepal in the 6th century. There is written evidence describing the selection, ornamentation, and worship of the Kumari dating from the 13th century CE. There are several legends telling how the current tradition of the Kumari began. Most of the legends, however, involve the tale of King Jayaprakash Mulla, the last Nepalese king of the Mulla dynasty, 12th to 17th century CE. According to the most popular legend, a king and his friend, the goddess Taleju, approached his chambers late one night as he played tripesa, a dice game. The goddess came along every night to play the game with the condition that the king refrains from telling anyone about their one night. The king's wife followed him to his chamber in order to find out who the king was meeting so often. The king's wife saw Taleju, and the goddess was angered. She told the king that if he wanted to see her again or have her protect his country, he would have to search for her among the Newari, Shakya, community of Ratnavali, as she would be incarnated as a little girl among them. Hoping to make amends with his patroness, King Jayaprakash palace in search of the young girl who was possessed by Taleju. Similarly, there is another story about the disappearance of Taleju. Some believe that the goddess visited King Trailokia Mulla every night in the human form. Like other legendary stories, the king and the goddess played tripesa, dice, while discussing the welfare of the country. However, one night, King Trailokia Mulla made sexual advances towards the goddess Taleju. As a result, the goddess in rage stopped visiting the palace. The king in regret worshipped and pleaded for her return. Finally, the goddess agreed to appear in the body of a virgin girl from the Shakya family. 6. Even today, a mother's dream of a red serpent is believed to be a portent of the elevation of her daughter to the position of royal Kumari. And each year, the Nepalese king seeks the blessing of the royal Kumari at the festival of Indra Jatra. This tradition has changed from 2008 AD with the country becoming one of the youngest republics in the world. A variation of this and other legends names King Gunkam Dev, a 12th century ancestor of King Jayaprakash Mulla, as the main character rather than Jayaprakash Mulla. A third variation of the legend says that during the reign of King Jayaprakash Mulla, a young girl was banished from the city because it was feared that she was possessed by the goddess Durga. When the queen learned of the young girl's fate, she became enraged and insisted that the king fetch the girl and install her as the living incarnation of Durga. These rituals are completed, Taleju enters her, and she is presented as the new Kumari. She is dressed and made up as a Kumari and then leaves the Taleju temple and walks across the square on a white cloth to the Kumari Gar, which will be her home for the duration of her divinity. Once Taleju has left the sitting Kumari, there is a frenzy of activity to find her successor. The selection process is conducted by 5 senior Buddhist Vajracharya priests, the Panch Buddha, the Bada Guruju or chief royal priest, Ashajo, the priest of Taleju and the royal astrologer. The king and other religious leaders that might know of eligible candidates are also informed that a search is underway. Eligible girls are from the Newari Shakya caste of silver and goldsmiths. She must be in excellent health, never have shed blood or been afflicted by any diseases, be without blemish, and must not have yet lost any teeth. Girls who pass these basic eligibility requirements are examined for the 32 lakshanas, or 32 perfections of a goddess. Some of these are poetically listed as such. A neck like a conch shell. A body like a banyan tree. Eyelashes like a cow. Thighs like a deer. Chest like a lion. Voice as soft and clear as a duck's. In addition to this, her hair and eyes should be very black, and she should have dainty hands and feet, small and well-recessed sexual organs, and a set of 20 teeth. The girl is also observed for signs of serenity and fearlessness, and her horoscope is examined to ensure that it is complementary to the king's. It is important that there not be any conflicts, as she must confirm the king's legitimacy each year of her divinity. Her family is also scrutinized to ensure its piety and devotion to the king. Once the priests have chosen a candidate, she must undergo yet more rigorous tests to ensure that she indeed possesses the qualities necessary to be the living vessel of Durga. Her greatest test comes during the Hindu festival of Dashain, also known as Vijaya Dashmi. On the Kalaratri, or Black Night, 108 buffaloes and goats are sacrificed to the goddess Kali. The young candidate is taken into the Taleju temple and released into the courtyard, where the severed heads of the animals are illuminated by candlelight and masked men are dancing about. If the candidate truly possesses the qualities of Taleju, she shows no fear during this experience. If she does, another candidate is brought in to attempt the same thing. In the next test, the living goddess must spend a night alone in a room among the heads of ritually slaughtered goats and buffaloes without showing fear. The fearless candidate has proven that she has the serenity and the fearlessness that typifies the goddess who is to inhabit her. After passing all other tests, the final test is that she must be able to pick out the personal belongings of the previous Kumari from an assortment of things laid out before her. If she is able to do so, there is no remaining doubt that she is the chosen one. There are claims contrary to the commonly believed ritual and screening process, however. The ex-royal Kumari Rashmala Shakya states in her autobiography, 7, From Goddess to Mortal, that this has nothing to do with the selection process, but rather is a ritual the royal Kumari goes through each year, that there are no men dancing around in masks trying to scare her, and that at most, there are only a dozen or so decapitated animal heads in the scary room test. She also describes the requisite physical examination of each Kumari as neither intimate nor rigorous. Once the Kumari is chosen, she must be purified so that she can be an unblemished vessel for Taleju. She is taken by the priests to undergo a number of secret tantric rituals to cleanse her body and spirit of her past experiences.